Hello, lovely readers. Welcome back. I hope that all of you are fine and so energetic to start another session with me. Guys, today we want to start the 7th episode of Reading in English with me. If you haven't watched the previous episode, don't forget to watch it out because we want to continue the previous episode in this session together. So, now, we want to continue the rest of myths because we talked about number 1 and number 2. So today we want to continue that. Okay, let's go for the myth number 3. To create a better life, we must get rid of negative feelings. We live in a feel-good society, a culture thoroughly obsessed with finding happiness. And what does that society tell us to do? To eliminate negative feelings and accumulate positive ones in their place. It's a nice theory, and on the surface it seems to make sense. After all, who wants to have unpleasant feelings? But here's the catch. The things we generally value most in life bring with them a whole range of feelings, both pleasant and unpleasant. For example, in an intimate long-term relationship, although you will experience wonderful feelings such as love and joy, you will also inevitably experience disappointment and frustration. There is no such thing as the perfect partner, and sooner or later conflicts of interest will happen. The same holds true for just about every meaningful project we embark on. Although they often bring feelings of excitement and enthusiasm, they also generally bring stress, fear, and anxiety. So, if you believe myth 3, you're in big trouble because it's pretty well impossible to create a better life if you're not prepared to have some uncomfortable feelings. However, in part 2 of this book, you will learn how to handle such feelings altogether differently, to experience them in a such way that they bother you a whole lot less. I think this is the most popular one. If I want to be honest with you, all of them are so popular and it's really hard for me to choose. But I have heard a lot that you should get rid of negative feelings and you should always be happy. You should always focus on positive thoughts, positive feelings. So I think that it is super familiar for all of us. So let's learn some vocabularies regarding this part. Eliminate means delete. Okay, delete all the negative feelings. So, and accumulate. Accumulate means you store, you collect positive ones. Let's see, what is the next myth? Myth number 4. You should be able to control what you think and feel. The fact is, we have much less control over our thoughts and feelings than we would like. It's not that we have no control, it's just that we have much less than the experts would have us believe. However, we do have a huge amount of control over our actions, and it's through taking action that we create a rich, full, and meaningful life. That's why we say ACT as the word act rather than as the initials ACT. The overwhelming majority of self-help programs subscribe to myth 4. For example, many approaches teach you to identify negative thoughts and replace them with more positive ones. Other approaches encourage the repetition of positive affirmations, such as everything that happens is for my highest good and greatest joy, or I am strong, able, and capable at all times. Still, other approaches the overwhelming majority of self-help programs subscribe to myth 4. For example, many approaches teach you to identify negative thoughts and replace them with more positive ones. Other approaches encourage the repetition of positive affirmations, such as everything that happens is for my highest good and greatest joy, or I am strong, able, and capable at all times. Encourage you to visualize what you want, to vividly imagine yourself the way you want to be, living the life you dream of. The basic theme of all these approaches is this: if you challenge your negative thoughts or images and instead repeatedly fill your head with positive thoughts and images, you will find happiness. If only life were that simple. Among all these four myths, which one do you face more in your life? Which one do you struggle with more than the others? I think about me, the myth number 3 was the most problematic myth for myself. So how about you? You tell me. Tell me about yourself. I would like you to write your own answer in the comments below. I'm willing to bet that you've already tried countless times to think more positively about things, and yet those negative thoughts keep coming back again and again. As we saw in the last chapter, our minds have evolved over 100,000 years to think the way they do. So it's not likely that a few positive thoughts or affirmations will change them all that much. It's not that these techniques have no effect. They can often make you feel better temporarily, but they will not get rid of negative thoughts over the long term. The same holds true for negative feelings such as anger, fear, sadness, insecurity, and guilt. There are multitudes of psychological strategies to get rid of such feelings. But you've undoubtedly discovered that even if they go away, after a while they're back, and then they go away again, and then they come back again, and so on and so on. The likelihood is, if you're like most other humans on the planet, you've already spent a lot of time and effort trying to have good feelings instead of bad ones. And you've probably found that as long as you're not too distressed, you can, to some degree, pull it off. But you've probably also discovered that as your level of distress increases, your ability to control your feelings progressively lessens. Sadly, myth 4 is so widely believed that we tend to feel inadequate when our attempts to control our thoughts and feelings fail. So I think it is completely about our lives. This is really real. مطمئنم هممون باهاش مواجه شدیم، خیلی زیاد. اینقدر که تلاش کردیم که این احساسات و افکار منفیمون رو کنترل بکنیم، تا یه حدی شاید تونسته باشیم، ولی وقتی که در واقع اونقدر دیسترست یا ناراحت هستیم، واقعا تا یه جایی میشه، ولی از یه جایی به بعد دیگه واقعا نمیشه و اون موقع است که ما احساس inadequate، ناکافی داریم که هر چقدر تلاش میکنم نمیشه و اینقدر این عمیق هست که در واقع تو کاملا از هم میپاشی و اصلا فکرشو نمی کنی که اینجوری تو پارت شدی، از هم پاشیده شدی، یا بگیم که در واقع باعث شده که شما تکه پاره بشه اون وجود شما. So I think that it is really common among us. Now let's learn some vocabularies. Get rid of. Get rid of. Get rid of means actually you don't have it. خلاص شدن از یه چیز رو ما بهش میگیم get rid of. Get rid of. And distressed means you are upset. You are not happy. So distressed. And اما یک اصطلاح خیلی قشنگ pull it off means you manage to do something despite all the problems and obstacles that you face. یعنی چی؟ یعنی که شما بتونی با وجود تمام سختی ها ادامه بدی کار خودت رو و همینجور میتونیم بگیم که مقاومت کردن. So in some stages or to some degree you can pull it off, but sometimes it's really hard. So these four powerful myths provide the basic blueprint for the happiness trap. They set us apart. They set us up for a struggle we can never win, the struggle against our own human nature. It is this struggle that builds the trap. In the next chapter, we will look at this struggle in detail. But first, let's consider why these myths are so entrenched in our culture. Blueprint means the plan. So the basic plan would be the four myths when we want to set up the happiness trap up. Entrenched means something that is fixed in our culture. It is really hard to take it apart. یعنی تثبیت شده. So, are you really curious to see why these myths are so entrenched in our culture? If you want to know more, stay tuned for the illusion of control. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I will really appreciate your likes, comments, and when you subscribe my channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you next episode. Goodbye.